Today is a beautiful day. For anyone who might be wondering who this is, my name's Kevin, and as far as everything goes, I'm pretty much a typical guy. Maybe off the beaten path a little bit. I am pretty much a metalhead after all. Lots of people tend to be off-put by the number of piercings that I have. My nose, my ears, my eyebrows, my lips. I'm basically covered in metal, which suits me just fine. I do work at a piercing parlor, where people go to get themselves some steel. I'm about 27 years old right now, and my life is about as ordinary as you can get. Currently, I'm walking down a bridge, on my way to work for the day. People's tongues aren't going to pierce themselves. And as I said, today is a good day. The sun is shining, I can feel the warmth on my face. There's a nice breeze today too. People usually don't assume that guys covered with piercings are generally happy, but if you ever meet me, I tend to be wearing a smile. Along with the latest metal t-shirt from my favorite bands and whatnot. Right now they are just releasing the new Metal Knuckles album, and I got a pre-order, and I could not be happier about it. Their last album slayed, and this one is gonna be no different. Metal Knuckles are always a win. Honestly, I don't really live a life that most people would be very impressed with. I have a simple average paid job, a crappy little apartment, and I've got really no life to speak of. At least nothing interesting. Most of the time when I talk to my dad, the thing he wants to talk about is getting me to go to school and get a good education. He says it's never too late. He's a lawyer, so he tends to value that kind of thing highly. But I always just tell him I'm happy. I like the way that my life is going. Currently I don't have a girlfriend, which is a little down, but it'll pick up. Just gotta find the right one. A girl who's okay with a little mediocrity. After all, everyone can't reach for the stars. There have to be some people left here on the ground. And I'd say the most pathetic thing about it is, I'm really quite content. I mean, sure, it'd be nice to be rich and famous, but it's not something I ever really thought that I needed. Some might consider it sort of shameful to just be happy in mediocrity. But I'm fine with it. It might be the most pathetic thing about me, but I'm quite content being no one. As long as I have a smile on my face, I don't really suppose it matters. I spend most of my time with my friend. Her name's Vicky. She's a psychic. Slash witch, I suppose. She even owns a magic parlor, I guess you could call it. A place where people can go to have their fortunes read and buy magical supplies and stuff. Mainly for Wiccans and people who are into the dark arts. It's laughable just thinking about it most of the time. But Vicky herself is pretty awesome. She's a metalhead just like me. She just believes in all that magic and spiritualism and stuff. But all that aside, that girl can drink a beer. She's drunken me under the table more than once. Whenever we hang out with my friend Ned, another typical guy. He works at a crappy little fast food restaurant. And Ned is basically a nerd. He spends most of his time buried in comic books, watching anime, and the latest superhero movie to come off the assembly line. Whenever we hang out, usually all we do is drink beer, laugh at stupid little jokes, watch the latest episode of Supermodels, To Be, and try to guess which one's gonna win. Playing little drinking games to see which girl is gonna get knocked out first, while making fun of all of it. And in between that, I usually tend to just be at work. Go to work, make money, come home, chill with my friends and drink beer. Shots of tequila if we're feeling wild. But regardless, other than that, nothing interesting ever really happens. At least not to me. And I really like it that way. Interesting things are so tedious. Expectations are a burden, and why do you really try to achieve anything if you're already fairly happy where you are? So, pathetic or not, that's just my life. As I walk down the side walkway for the bridge, on my way to another day of work, I take the phone out of my pocket and start to switch over to a different song. I've been listening to the same soundtrack for a while. I'm glad I shelled out for some new headphones, the noise-canceling ones. They work pretty well. Even in this traffic, I can't hear any of it. All I can hear is that sweet music. So I switch over the track, put something new to listen to on. And as I look up, there's a school bus coming by. Here's some kids looking out of the windows, fairly cheerfully, a few of them making some faces at me as I pass, or as they pass by me. I smile, put my thumbs in my ears and stick my hands up like antlers, and make a silly face right back. They seem to get a chuckle out of it. I take one last look at my phone to set the playlist I want. I still have a ways before I make it to work today. And as I shut my phone off and start to stuff it back in my pocket, suddenly, my whole world gets rocked. And not in a hey, this is great, bang your head kind of way. I suddenly feel a massive pain in my chest. Everything spins wildly for a moment. By the time I realize what's going on, I'm on the ground, coughing. There's some kind of dust in the air. No, not dust. Cement dust. My chest hurts. The pain is ridiculous. I look down and I can see blood. I'm not sure where it came from, but there seems to be a flurry of it, and I'm pretty sure it's mine. As I start to check myself, I'm covered in a great number of scrapes and bruises. I think my nose is bleeding. As my headphones are off and sound starts to return to the world, I can hear scraping metal and what sounds like cracking stone, or in this case, cement and concrete, and screaming. Lots of voices screaming. As I turn my head to see where that noise is coming from, I see this school bus that just passed by me. I don't know how or why, but somehow they ended up smashing straight through the crosswalk that runs across the bridge. And now the entire bus is hanging over the edge. I can still see the kids inside. They're freaking out, screaming and crying. Before I even know what I'm doing, I pick myself up and start to run. My body hurts, but there's no time to think about it. I jump straight over the sidewalk guard, into the street where all the cars are stopped. The bus is slipping farther towards the edge. I can hear them banging on the back door of it, trying to get it open, but it isn't yet. I run over to it as fast as I can. Still, I can hear that sound. Metal warping, scraping against concrete, and the bus slowly moving forward. This isn't good. I haul ass, jumping onto the back of the bus. There's a release lever to open the back door. I pull it as hard as I can. For the first attempt, it doesn't work, but I keep at it. A few tries in, and the door finally pops open. A bunch of the kids are already at the back. They're screaming and crying. I do my best to calm them down while I'm trying to get them off the bus. One after another, they start to hop off. I'm pulling them off, lifting them up and putting them on the ground one after another. Still, the bus keeps moving. Little jolts here and there. Us moving on the bus seems to be making it speed up, but there's no choice. I gotta get these kids off. Suddenly, there's a massive jolt, as if something just gave, and suddenly the bus starts to tilt, the back lifting up. Me and all the kids inside thrown for a loop for a moment. Lots of the kids falling down. I managed to stay on my feet, but only just. They're still crying. They're scared. And just like that, the bus begins to slide ever so slowly, more and more forward, towards the edge.